Alright, hello everyone. Today we'll be doing a video on Apex once again. I'm going to try a new style here because I did get some kind of complaints and some feedback based on my recent videos, basically saying that they're not really high quality enough, and I completely agree. I definitely want to try and step up the quality of my videos. So I think putting some audio and also some gameplay on will probably help with that. So please do let me know how you guys think about it. And yeah, let's just get right into the video. So starting with Season 20, we got quite a lot of improvements to the class system. I feel overall, I feel like the actual classes in the game feel a lot more solidified because each class action that you do, you actually get rewarded with Evo points. And with the perk system that was added alongside the Evo point improvements with the classes, it actually made the progression in the game really, really fun. And I think this is probably one of the best updates that they actually introduced into the game. And I think, like, overall, the game it feels like a night and day from what it was before Season 20. And I think this really does set up the future of the game. Apparently, we're going to be getting more Legends next year than what we have the previous 2 years. But what that means is that we're not going to get as many of these big updates potentially. And if we weigh up that, would we rather have more Legends in the game, or would we have really meaningful updates such as this, the Evo system and the perks? What would we actually prefer more? And it's kind of a hard debate to have because I think both of them are really good. Now, just on the topic of obviously perks as well, when they did get added, it was like revolutionary essentially. Every character had progression in the game. You had to do these different actions, and obviously, depending on what character you are, you have a bigger benefit from doing your actions. So if you're a recon character, you obviously have to do the survey beacons and stuff like that. So doing your recon role, you are actually getting Evo points and then improve your kit overall. But what it essentially allowed is for different playstyles, and that's like probably one of the biggest things. Is before this season where all these perks were added, whatever abilities you had, them were the abilities. There was nothing else. Whereas now, we can simply just add some perks, or change some perks, or embed some perks into the Legends kit, customizing the progression of the character by giving them new, unique abilities and stuff like that. So that basically we have the different playstyles in the game. We have the casual playstyle, and we have the competitive and ranked playstyle. And you really see that most recently with Legends like Valkyrie, where we have the higher ultimate skydive deployment, as well as scanning enemies through walls with the ultimate. That's very much a ranked and probably ALGS type of selection, whereas the other ones are improving the tactical cooldown as well as the size of the tactical, and also the perk where you improve your jetpack, where you have more fuel and it recharges faster. That's probably more casual based, where you can actually use your jetpack, move around more, things like that. Now, although I don't actually fully agree with Valkyrie's inclusion into the game and the fact that she's been put into the recon class, I do think in the future, if they do nerf bits and pieces of her skirmisher abilities, such as the jetpack and the ultimate, and kind of tie them more into just being more of like a recon ability, like for example, if you use a jetpack, it'll initiate the little triangles. I thought that's what they were gonna do, but they didn't. And if your ultimate instead had like a range cap, so that your main use of that ultimate is to scan enemies. Things like that, I think, will be very helpful just to kind of solidify Valkyrie in the recon class. But obviously, I talk a lot about the classes because I really truly believe that Apex's class system is one of the best out there. You know, we have games like Overwatch, and I think Valorant also has classes as well. But I think them games, if you're playing, like, say, for example, a support character, a lot of the time you just kind of stay in that class and you don't really navigate elsewhere. Whereas in this game, you can switch classes a lot of the time and play around it and build your team in a way, because most of the game modes revolve around trios and there's 5 classes, so you have to build your team in the way that you want it, and you're going to have to make sure that you pick the right characters so that you get the most out of their abilities. Now, honestly, I really like the way that the whole system works now. It's just obviously I've made some videos on how to improve, and I think sometimes you need to sit back and go, it's a lot better than what we started off with. If you guys remember at the start of the game, we had a sort of like class system from the very start, but it was more like a indication of how you might want to play the character. Like Pathfinder was a recon, even though he really didn't have much recon abilities. I believe Pathfinder was even a support character when he got first released, right at the very beginning, and then they switched him, and then they switched him again, and they switched him, and kept switching him over and over again. But I think the more we're progressing in the future, the more suggestions that we make, how to actually improve the class system and different methods of improving the game. I mean, obviously I've made concepts recently about fully catered weapons and how I would personally like them to be added into the game. Obviously they are testing that specifically now, from what we've learned from leakers, but it doesn't really feel like it's going to be rewarded the way that they are going to add it. So it's just giving feedback always to the developers on these issues, because we want the game to be the best that it can possibly be. And I think we need to recognise that the game has come quite a long way, and also that the game feels a lot better this season as well, from what I have seen. We've got a big anti-cheat update recently, as well as audio feels a lot better in my opinion. I know they did improve the audio, apparently, that they said in the post, so that is great to hear as well. That was another huge problem. There's still obviously other problems like the skill-based matchmaking as well. That's another there's basically the big three in this game. It's the cheating problem, it's the skill-based matchmaking, and it's the audio. So obviously so far, just this season alone, we've gotten a big anti-cheat update. We've got a huge audio improvement as well. Now, what about skill-based matchmaking? We could see a big improvement on that as well. So the game's going in a good direction, and I think all of the limited time modes as well that are testing with is also great as well. I just hope that the future big changes that they do intend on doing, of course we're going to have the legend seasons, apparently more of them, but the big changes like fully catered weapons, legend mastery, weapon mastery improvements, stuff like that, I hope they just do it well, do it justice. And the previous systems, like the class system, I hope they continue to make that feel good by obviously changing Valkyrie around a little bit, and other characters as well. But I've made videos on that in the past, so I would like to hear what you guys think about all this. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye now.